On the line with us, Senator Nina Turner, former state senator in the grand state of Ohio, former Bernie spokesperson. NinaTurner.net is her website. You can tweet her at Nina Turner. And Senator, welcome back.
Thanks, Tom. It's been a long time. Great to be back with you and your listeners.
It has been. It's been way too long. So early voting starts today in Ohio. What's your read of the Ohio political landscape? There are some concerns that Ohio may be a decisive state in this election.
Well, we usually are in presidential elections, but yes, early voting has started in the great state of Ohio, and I know you have listeners all over the country, so I encourage people to look at what their state's regulations are. But yes, for us, today is the day, and we go all the way till November the 7th, and as we know, November the 8th is actually Election Day. You know, I've been talking to some elections officials who are kind of unsure. This is, you know, some believe that we may be able to reach in Ohio levels of 2012, and some are not so sure. So we will see. But some of the anecdotal, as I go out into my neighborhood and my community to talk to people, people really have some anxiety right now, Tom, over this election cycle, which I'm sure you can understand why.
Yeah. Yeah. Ken Blackwell, back when he was the Secretary of State, was leading the charge for voter suppression. What's the status of that in Ohio right now?
Oh, my God. Yes, he did. And 2004 was disastrous for Ohio, which is what caused the Republicans and the Democrats to come together in the state of Ohio. I wasn't in the legislature at the time, but they did pass some pretty progressive election opportunities, which since 2010, no surprise, have been scaled back. So we had a week in Ohio called Golden Week, and it was the time where somebody could both register and vote at the same time. Republicans took that away. We battled them in court. We got it back, and then we lost it again. So voter confusion, I would argue, is a form of voter suppression as well. So in the state of Ohio, folks have less opportunities to vote, even though we do tend to be a state that has, you know, more opportunities, let's say, compared to a New York, as my Republican colleagues always like to point out. But what the point is, I think that's a false comparison, because this is not about what New York had. It is what Ohio had, and how the Republicans in my state have worked very diligently to take away those opportunities. So we do not have Golden Week any longer in the state of Ohio, which is very unfortunate.
Yeah. What is your take on the current state of the Republican race? Or excuse me, the presidential race. I mean, and the current and this war that's going on between right now Paul Ryan and Donald Trump. I'm watching this with slack-jawed amazement.
Mm-hmm. I mean, they're turning on each other. I mean, I've never seen anything like this in my lifetime. And I would argue, you know, although I'm a Democrat for values, even though a lot of those values are not, you know, are not ringing that true right now with this WikiLeaks scandal. But I will say that what is happening to the Republican Party should concern all of us in this country, especially those of us who believe in a robust democracy and robust competition. It really does democracy no good to see this kind of implosion go on for either of the two major parties in this country, and it's quite concerning to me.
Yeah.
But it's a drama. I mean, this is. You talk about reality TV. I mean, this is real-life reality TV. I was just telling a friend of mine, I'm expecting Rod Sterling at any moment to come out and say this is the Twilight Zone.
Yeah, we're definitely there. We're talking with former state senator Nina Turner. NinaTurner.net is her website. You can tweet her at Nina Turner, spelled just like it sounds. And Senator, the last half hour I've been ranting about peace and peace through trade, which has not worked, peace through, Pax Americana. In fact, I played a clip of Jack Kennedy saying, this is not the kind of peace we want, where, one country basically rules the world. That peace within the world and peace within our nation, frankly, comes about as a consequence, in my opinion, of people respecting each other and of having an active and vibrant democracy. In fact, my friend David Korten made the comment. He said, for this to work, he said, that requires that corporate power be subordinated to the power of truly democratic states.
That's right.
Your thoughts on all that?
Man, amen to that. And I'm so glad you're talking about that, Tom, because people are anxious. And that is, and I want to take the partisanship out of it. I've talked to Republicans. You know, I like to talk to people, and they weren't born Republicans or Democrats. They were born people, and people are really anxious, and we have lost. And I believe that the 24-hour news cycle, being bombarded with all of this stuff constantly, we don't have any mental rest now, and so people are amped up all the time, and we are going at each other. And you know what? No matter who wins this election, what is going to remain true is that we have groups of Americans who are totally on the opposite side so much that they maybe hate is too strong of a word, but they're suspicious of each other. And we're going to have to live with that time. We're going to have to find a way to bring our country back together, even if people have different ideological perspectives and views when it comes to running the country. That, by far, is my biggest fear right now. What is going to happen November the 9th and beyond?
Yeah, I absolutely agree with you. And what I think I'm seeing here is the damage that a right-wing so-called grassroots movement, the Tea Party, funded by some right-wing and largely libertarian billionaires, has produced damage within the Republican Party and damage within our general body politic. And I'm just wondering if after this election, they're going to double down like they've done after every, the more recent elections. They 2010 was sort of the peak of their power, I think. Or if they're going to say, okay, it doesn't work, forget it. I don't know. Do you have any insight or thoughts on that?
I think they may double down, this whole, and it's greed, and I heard you talking about that in the, it's really greed. It's not that people are against wealth, but they're against excessive greed. And Citizens United has certainly created an environment where people who have more money have more voice. And it is my hope that we all, no matter whether we're Democrat, Republican, Green Party, or Libertarian, that the everyday people in this country can agree that people who have more money should not have more voice. And they are creating, you're right, they are creating a very toxic environment that causes the rest of us, the 99 of us, or the 90% of us, to be at each other's throats, so much so that we have what we have today. But you're absolutely right. The Tea Party really did start this. People with excessive wealth that want to use it in a bad way are just stoking it. And it's not good for us as Americans. And that's why there has to be those of us in this fight who understand that we have to keep the lines of communications open for all people in this country. And I'm doing my best to be one of those people who can do that.
I know you are. Spoken like a true statesperson. Nina Turner, thank you so much for being with us today.
Thanks, Tom. And please, everybody, go vote. Even if you're frustrated and mad as hell, I still want you to go out there to vote. Please.
Yeah. Get out there and vote. Now, even if you're mad as hell, get out there and vote. I totally agree. Thank you, Nina Turner.